Hey, hey you. Yes, you watching this video. Are you an artist? Do you make things like me? Do you paint or watercolor or digital art or whatever? Are you ever like, wow, I've made a lot of stuff over the years. Maybe, perhaps too much stuff. If only I had a place to show it all off. Yeah? Me too. And today, thanks to the work of my wonderful, awesome, talented, amazing friend, I get to show you all my shiny, brand new, shiny, awesome, amazing website portfolio. So in today's video, I'll be making a background for said website, glazing the hell out of my awesome friend, and showing y'all the final result. Let's get into it. Woo! Alright, so these are the two sketches I whipped up real quick as my initial ideas for the background. Because I'm, in general, very inspired by Zelda, I wanted to do something related with that. So these two are screenshots I took from Breath of the Wild that I just kind of watercolored over. This is Dueling Peaks, this is Hyrule Castle. I think this one overall is going to be a better choice because it's less busy and the main castle very much speaks to my ability to draw fantasy. So this is what I've got going on here, and let's get on to the actual drawing process. But before that, a word from our sponsor here. Hello. Which one are you feeling? Are you feeling this one? Are you feeling this one? Yeah. Yeah. Is it approved? Is it approved? Should I get in? Should I start working? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, so on to the speed paint. So as I explained a bit earlier, I wanted to create something that's reflective of my overall vibe as an artist, but also simple enough to be used as a background, which, you know, I didn't think I was a very maximalist artist, but having to do something like this really made me realize how much details I like to add into my pieces. So since any type of character illustration would be too showy and distract from the website itself, I ended up tweaking the top of the two sketches that I showed earlier. The first thing I did was adjust the proportions of the sketch. Since I'm drawing on a wider canvas this time, I wanted the castle to be the main draw of the piece, obviously, but not too showy because, once again, this is a background, so I decided to make it smaller and just add more landscape to either side. I'm not too experienced with drawing landscapes, as you can probably tell from my regular channel content, but if you are interested about how I draw landscapes, I made another video about that, which I will link at this point in the video. Hopefully I will remember. Thank you, editing me. Anyways, this was good practice for me to work on composition, color, and creating depth. As far as composition goes, I used the motion of the clouds and the shape of the fore and midground to draw the eye to the castle. My cat is running suicides behind me. I hope you cannot hear that. She is very energetic. For coloring, I went back to the tactic that I first used when learning how to draw landscapes, which is that things tend to be bluer the further back in the piece they are because of the sky. This big thing called the sky, which makes things blue, I guess. So although the castle and the landscape around it aren't actually blue, they look blue in this case because they're far away. That's some math in this art video for ya. So yeah, pro tip from me, because I'm a pro, obviously. If you're ever feeling like your mid and foreground aren't distinct enough from each other, just add a blue tone to the midground and it'll blend more into the background, assuming that your background is, of course, blue sky. As for this particular foreground, I tried to add a lot of yellows to the green because, for one thing, Breath of the Wild is actually like it seems everything's green, but there's a lot of variations of green in the screenshots, which I was using as reference. And I was also using this reference you see in the top left corner of the canvas for colors. I really liked the way that the blue and the green somehow blended together with each other, but were also distinct when they had to be. So I wanted to take some cues from that piece and add those sorts of colors to my own piece. And then in the foreground, the very foreground, if you will, I added a little sword because I'm a fantasy art channel, like, come on, it had to be done. And then some grass because then I can just add a little bit more of color variation and add a little bit more interesting stuff to the foreground without it's still drawing the eye to the castle because it's sort of like framing it. When it came time to
paint the sky and add finishing touches. I had a lot of fun playing around with textured brushes that I don't normally use. Honestly, for this whole painting experience, I used a lot of brushes and textures that I don't normally use. I'm very much a one round brush kind of guy. And so when I have to paint textures like this that aren't skin or clothes, I have to get a little bit more creative. And that's good practice for me, honestly, because it's not something I do all the time. The most obvious one that you'll see is a sort of paint roller / dry brush effect on the background that I think adds a really cool streaky kind of 3D texture. Just a side note, I've tried in the past to use custom brushes like cloud brushes, grass brushes, things like that, but I've just found that I don't really like the way they look. So all of the brushes I'm using here are just regular textured brushes that I use to make clouds and grass, etc. I'm not using a pre-rendered brush, so that just goes to say that if you want to paint like this, you can do it easily. You don't need any specific brushes, you don't need to use a specific art program, you can just go for it. So I also used that same paint texture brush in between the fore and the midground layers to add a sort of fog / cloud texture and further separate the two layers. Other than that, I added a particle spray in the foreground because, I don't know, just because I thought it was kind of cool. Sometimes things just look good and you can't explain why and you just move on. So yeah, particle effect with the white dots in the background really came in clutch here. I have to say this video is kind of a weird one for me since it's a bit shorter than what I usually do, and I'm not actually doing the main legwork of making the website. I'm just here to make the background and yap. So thank you so much to my friend for making this video possible, obviously. And let's move on to the final result of the landscape and then the website reveal. So here are the final landscapes. I really should say 2 landscapes because I ended up creating 2 versions. The day version, which you saw in the speed paint, and then a night version I added really quickly off camera because, well, you're about to see because. I was informed that the yellow sky version you see me messing with in the speed paint looks like piss sky, so yeah, that one did not quite make the cut, but I am happy with the 2 versions I settled on, and I think I did a pretty good job. So with all that said, let's go take a look at the shiny brand new website. Woohoo! So exciting. Alright, here we are. Here's the finished website. I'm like shaking in my boots right now. This is so exciting. It turned out so awesome. My friend, this is just like a really slay idea for a website, especially to show art. So as you can see, castle background that I just drew, that you just watched, here we go. And then these are the 10 pieces that I think are the best I've ever made. So they're sort of on the front page here. And if you hover over them with your mouse, you can sort of see them like this, or you can click on them to see the full screen. Also, side note, if you're like, whoa, how'd she make all these? I have videos on all of them. Go watch them, please. I'm gonna be honest. Here's the night version, actually, before I continue. Woo! So here's the night version, and a little, if you know, you know. He's a deep cut right here. This is my cat Mel, who is a girl, and I love her, and she's awesome. She's just a girl. We have an about me section. I love this photo of me eating soft serve. I've been told it's not appropriate for a website, but it's my narrative to create, and this is the narrative I have created. So there. Now here we have an archive. I really appreciate this section. This is what's happening next video. Be excited for that. Because I have honestly messed around with making a portfolio in a website company, a very popular company, rhymes with Mlace. But I could not get my images to format correctly because I have a lot of different canvas sizes. And my dear friend has made this so convenient. You can see when I've made everything, what the canvas looks like. Yeah, it's honestly just awesome. I love it so much. I have no complaints. I think it's amazing. And I'll be adding to this portfolio over time, so that's just really exciting that I get to see all my art in one place. I get to see how I've developed as an artist, how my style has changed, how I've experimented with different styles. It's just really fun. We got my commissions here, which, you know, I am open for commissions. If you're like into that, I am totally open. I have full bodies open. I have half body or portraits, full character sheets, no chibis. I'm working on one right now. But, you know, if you're like into that, yeah, they're open, they're available. And then my socials are here, YouTube, Tumblr, Kara. So yeah, this is just like really awesome, real quick. Y'all gotta see his website because, oh my god. This is like, if I am the fantasy aesthetic, my friend here, he is the cyberpunk aesthetic. Like, come on, like, look at this. Look. Like, are you looking? Like, look in this top corner, like how you touch a new topic and then it like goes to the topic. It's like a little map, like a spaceship map. Like, come on. This is like so awesome. Like, I like saw this for the first time and I was like, oh my god, like how did someone think to make this? So yes, very big thank you to my awesome, amazing friend for making me a website and for gracing my eyes with his own website. This is just like, it's like better than Christmas. I don't know what to say. So yeah, that's like about all I got for this video. I hope y'all liked watching me paint a castle and looking at all my art. And thank you, as always, for watching. I am, you know, this is a good day. I'm really excited about this. So yeah, thanks y'all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!